Thanks again for tuning in. As always, I'm Tony Altieri, Vice President of Business Development at National Powersport Auctions. This week marks a significant milestone as we're officially 60 days removed from the stay-at-home orders that began on March 16, 2020. So much has transpired in a relatively short period of time, we felt it was important to recap exactly where we started, where we stand, and where we're headed. So let's jump in. March was off to a great start through the first 2 weeks of the month, with pricing metrics and bidder attendance eclipsing comparables from 2019. While the impending lockdowns were looming and rumors were circling, seasonal pricing trends looked to be on track. While many of us expected things to change, no one could have predicted what was about to happen over the course of the next 3 weeks. From March 16th to mid-April, lockdowns, confusion, and uncertainty paralyzed our lives and our businesses. While we continued facilitating auctions to service our buyers and sellers, this period presented one of the most difficult marketplaces we had ever seen, with pricing and conversion dropping nearly 15 or 20% off seasonal norms. A common theme in most of the recaps centers around volume and the effects that the restrictions have had on the infrastructure supporting auction inventory. Case in point, early March trends pushed monthly volume up 30% versus the prior year. With lockdowns now in full effect and many things on hold, April auction volume plummeted nearly 32% from 2019. This is a trend that has intensified into May, with incoming volume sitting at roughly 60% of seasonal norms. As the pandemic stretched into the second half of April and then into May, it became clear that this new normal wasn't leaving anytime soon. Because of this, dealers and their customers started to reemerge from the fog, and so too did seasonal pricing performance. With 2 consecutive weeks of spring price stabilization followed by 3 straight weeks of pricing gains, late April and early May signaled market resurgence, driven by an unprecedented rise in dealer attendance, which was up 23% for the same period versus 2019. All 3 auctions this week in Philadelphia, Madison, and Atlanta continued to see sales conversion north of 95%. In addition, Atlanta had the highest bidder attendance of any auction in roughly a decade, with over 800 bidders participating in that sale alone. While we did see pricing metrics slip 1 to 3 points this week, we fully expect the dynamics seen in recent weeks to continue to propel unprecedented auction pricing and conversion through the remainder of May. With our first auction in our newest location in Denver, Colorado on Thursday and our regularly scheduled NPA Dallas auction on Friday, we expect to see elevated dealer attendance, robust pricing, and demand-fueled conversion. As we look out over the landscape and evaluate where we're headed over the next 60 days, it's important to acknowledge that there are many unknowns clouding our visibility, but we can key in on things we do know. Number 1, seasonal pricing typically begins to slide as we exit May and enter summer. While the last 60 days have been anything but typical, it's important to understand that the dynamics driving seasonal pricing still exist today. Knowing this, there is a significant argument that can be made that pricing and demand will weaken and fall into line with seasonal norms as we gain distance from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Number 2, volume will continue to be compressed in June and potentially July. While things have started to loosen up, much of the infrastructure and inventory associated with auction volume continues to trickle in. While dealers see increased demand, trade-ins, which feed dealer consignments into the auction, remain well below normal levels. Additionally, financial institutions, which use the auction for the liquidation of repos, continue to be at a standstill while many finance companies evaluate an appropriate way to move forward. Number 3, while we've seen extreme volatility in the market over the last 60 days, year-to-date performance metrics are almost identical to 2019. Through 4.5 months of 2020, YTD pricing is just off 0.6%, and annualized volume is only down 5%, solidifying that as we pull back and examine the trends on a longer-term scale, seasonality starts to pull metrics back into more normal rhythms. While we don't know how things like infection rates, unemployment, or the impending election will impact the remainder of this year, we hope that you stay engaged and informed. We encourage you to click, comment, and connect with us through the various channels listed on your screen. And on behalf of the entire family here at NPA, we thank you for your time and your business. We hope you stay safe and healthy. And as always, we hope to see you back here next week again for another update. Cheers.